Oh, hello. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to look at the Shadowvualts pricing and analysis. So it's the Monday after the Sunday preview article, which means for those of us that know where to look, that the prices have been revealed on the Games Workshop retail website thingy-mabob, and we can have a little chat about them. So, upcoming prices for all the new releases. So the way these work, if you've never seen one of these spreadsheets before, the release date, the 22nd of the 10th, don't know what this means, I don't know what this means, I don't know what this means, this is the product code, this will be the barcode number, this is the name of the thing, don't know what that means, that's the quantity you get in the pack, which is occasionally useful when we're looking at paints, but there's no paints on here. This is what we're looking at in the main UK retail price. So this is the cost for for going into your local Games Workshop or gamesworkshop.com and buying it. This is what you will pay. GBD, I believe, is potentially the price that the retailer pays for the item, the trade price, I think. GBD, Great Britain Direct, I'm going to say. Commodity code surely means something. Country of origin is interesting, so you can see which things are made in Great Britain and which things are coming in from China, which is sometimes interesting because people sometimes ask about where are different books being printed and which sometimes some of the terrain was being made in China and it wasn't quite as good as terrain that was being made in Nottingham and this, that and the other. And then we've got the weight in kilograms and the volume in cubic centimetres. So, you've all already read it off the screen, right? Shadowvualts is coming in at a lovely £110. Now that's the retail price, so if you were to go to Element Games, you'd still get that for 15 to 20% off. Pretty good. As prices go, we'll talk more about the value in a minute. The dice that I think are hideous are coming in at £24 and have made them objectively worse. I know it's subjective. Some people prefer them because they like square marbly dice. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. I won't be buying these dice for £24. I will be buying a set of generic orange dice, I think, for my remaining teams that are never going to get decent custom dice. I just wanted to briefly mention a couple of other things on this screen. First of all, the playing cards are not on this list, which tells me they're going to be direct only, so they're only going to be available from Games Workshop stores, perhaps, and gamesworkshop.com. And the new Citadel Tools cutters, £30. Now, cutters, friends, are an interesting thing. You can get a pair of flush cutters from a hardware store for like a £5, and you can get some Japanese, the Japanese made God hand snips for plastic Gundam miniatures are about £80, right? So there is a big kind of gamut within the modeler's side cutter kind of range. But for £30, you could get quite a nice pair of Tamiya branded snips. If you wanted to treat yourself to a £30 pair of snippers, I might go for the Tamiya ones that are really well reviewed and respected in the community, rather than going for these new ones. They might be really good. Like, Games Workshop's tools are sometimes really good. Someone would need to do a hands-on review for me to want to buy them. And now I'm the guy with the YouTube channel, but I don't particularly want to spend £30. I mean, these ones, if you remember these ones, I bought these ones only because they're massively over-engineered and weird-looking, and these are 20-odd. And they've taken them up to £30, and they've made them look more generic. But maybe they're worth that much money. If you've got strong opinions on snips, let me know. Also, do we like the word snips or nippers? Snips, nippers, side cutters, snips, nippers, what are we calling them? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, let's talk about value. This slide is from ages ago when I talked about the value of Chalnath compared to other things. And I just wanted to briefly put it up. It's kind of one of my greatest hits. Value is subjective. So everything I'm going to talk about, I've got the example there of whiskey. You can get a 22 quid bottle of whiskey and a £65 bottle of whiskey. And unless you really care, it's not the more expensive one is not going to be worth its while. So we're going to be comparing like to like. We're going to be comparing Games Workshop to Games Workshop here. We're not going to be wasting our time comparing it to other products and other things out there in the world, because there's not a lot of point. So here is everything for Kill Team, the first year and a half of Kill Team boxes. So we started off with Octarius. Octarius came out at £125. Then we went down to Chalnath, which was 105, and then they announced a price rise, right? They announced their recession, cost of living price rise, and Nachmund went up to 115, and then Morok was 125, and I think a lot of people kind of excused Morok for being 125 because at the time the terrain in Morok, unlike the terrain in the middle two boxes, the terrain in Morok was pretty new, and this represented a pretty good discount on that terrain, which a lot of people wanted and didn't have yet. Whereas the terrain here, I mean, the Chalnath terrain was the terrain that was already reprinted loads of times in the original Kill Team back in 2018, and the Setna Mechanicus terrain, again, anybody that wants this has got loads of it already. But the terrain here was pretty new, so a lot of people let this price rise slide. So then they brought out Into the Dark, and Into the Dark was 130. So it's worth noting that in each year of Kill Team, I've said this a few times, but just to make it really clear what I mean, in each year of Kill Team, these first boxes here on the left of that yellow line, they are a slightly different product. So these two boxes both contain the cards, the secondary objective cards. They contain the token sheet, they contain the dice, they contain the essentials sprue, they contain a core rulebook. They've both contained terrain that was all new, designed for this game, all new terrain, and they've both contained two teams that have both been brand new teams designed for this product, right? So it makes a lot of sense to me that they would come in at higher price points, and I'm willing to say that the £5, the 125 to the 130, that's the Games Workshop's inflationary cost of living. It's been a year, everything's £5 more expensive. Like, it's probably not reasonable if we go to the Bank of England and we look at the inflation cap. I mean, let's see what inflation should be. I'm not going to do it on screen because that seems, apparently I am going to do it on screen. Okay, hang on. Let's have a look here. Bank of England inflation calculator. So, according to the Bank of england and their inflation calculator, here we go. £125 in... When did it come out? Let's say it was... it wasn't January 22, was it? It was 2021 is what in it nowadays. Show amount, 130. So actually, the economy's in a bit of a state, isn't it? So actually, no, you know, fair play to Games. I hadn't done this before going onto the stream. I'm quite upset. So actually, £125 in 2021 is probably worth £138 in today's money. So actually, Games Workshop is doing us... this is going to hurt me now. So actually, Games Workshop is doing us a deal. In that actually, Into the Dark could reasonably have been... Please send help. They're crashing the economy. So actually... Into the Dark could reasonably have been £138. This is not scripted. I didn't know it was going to say that. I genuinely thought it was going to say, like, £128. Oh dear. So that's a thing. So then, if we do the same calculation for the 105 of Kill Team Shalnath, which 150. So again, right. Okay. I'm just gonna close the tab of despair. So actually, if we look at inflation, Into the Dark's cheaper than Octarius was, and Shadowvualts is cheaper than Shalnath was. So that's good. Despairs in Englishman. That's good. Yes. So Games Workshop is, it makes sense, right? Games Workshop are not selling... This is going to get slightly political now, I do apologise. Games Workshop are not selling bread, or petrol, or baby formula, or paracetamol. So they have to show a little bit of restraint. They can't pass on all of those inflationary increases, because people like me are going to go, well, I'm not going to buy this next thing from Games Workshop because I'm spending more of my money on the bread, the petrol, the paracetamol, and the baby formula. So... It's not out of the kindness of their hearts, but thanks for the below the rate of inflation price stabilisation. Okay. Reset. So, God. So, what I think is this is actually a pretty good price. Obviously, we have to talk a little bit about Shadowvualts. So, like Chalnath and Nakmund, right? The anomaly here of Morok having slightly newer terrain, it's not quite the same as any of them, is it? Right? Because Chalnath and Nakmund had terrain in that was 2 or 3 years old and had been discounted before in other products. Morok had terrain in that was pretty new, and this represented a discount. Shadowvualts has the terrain that's pretty well identical to the terrain from the previous set, which we've discussed before. So, but I think as a value proposition, I don't have much of a problem saying that actually... I don't have much of a problem saying that Shadowvualts is of equivalent value to a Kill Team player as Chalnath, right? If you... I think there's a reasonable equivalence between those two things, okay? I think there's a reasonable equivalence between those two things, and I think that as I've just inadvertently shown... Sorry, I'm going to leave this in, but as I've just inadvertently shown that it's actually a below inflationary price rise. That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's actually pretty reasonable. I kind of felt in my bones that the price would come out. It was funny, we were talking on the Discord, and I was saying it's either going to be 105 or 115, and then Oro, who's increasingly like the Discord voice of wisdom, basically went, well, what about 110? And I was like, oh, well, Games Workshop are unlikely to like invent a new price point, but they have. So basically all that we have to hope is that this stays at, if you look up here, it went 125, 105, 115, 125. I kind of hope that this year it isn't going to go 130, 110, 120, right, 130 again, which would be very symmetrical. Like, between here and here is where we got a price rise. There was a price rise of £10 happened. The £10 here is anomalous, okay? And then this represents a price. So actually, it's weird to me because between Chalnath and Nakmund was a £10 hike, right? The prices went up £10. And then if you ignore this one as being an anomaly, actually the prices went down £5, didn't they? Effectively. If you suggest that the normal price for a starter set is 125 and the normal price for the follow-on set is 105, 115 is a weird price, right? 125 is a weird price, and then 130 to go from 150. Raise it 10 to get to 115. Actually, it's only 5 more. That it's only 5 more there, and it's only 5 more there. We're actually doing pretty well. But what I want them to do now is release the next 2 boxes and maintain that £110 price point, which obviously it's not actually totally within Games Workshop's control, because the pound... politics and the economy happen to the world, and we're on a YouTube channel about plastic fighting men, so that's what we're going to talk about. It's worth saying, by the way, that if you live in America or Europe, I'm not really talking about your prices, they're going to be too high. If you at all can persuade someone in England to buy this for you, like I've been tracking, if you've been tracking the pound versus the dollar, if you at all can get someone in England to buy this for you with your money, and then with more of your money post it to you in your country, and inform the customs officer that it's a gift, then you'll be you'll be having a nice time. This is becoming dangerously political and economic comment. Should I upload that? I'm going to upload it. It's content. I'm going to upload it, but I'm quite shaken by the little escapade there with the Bank of England's inflation calculator. Okay. Final thoughts. What do you think of the price? I think I am positive about the price. More so now that I've seen that it's actually a below inflationary increase. That's good. I mean, my wages also are getting a below inflationary increase, so that's good. And remember, with all this discussion on price, that Element Games will be getting you a further 15 to 20% off if you click expand below and use the Element Games thing, and then I'll get an extra 5% back from what you've paid as well. So you're getting whatever discount they give you between 15 and 20%. Usually it's 20% on a pre-order, so you get 20% off, and then another 5% of what you've paid comes to your favourite kill team. Well, I'm not Glass, but you know, your 3rd or 4th favourite kill team YouTuber, and that's kind. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. A bit of a weird one today. I don't like talking about money and value, because there are always people in the comments that will go, "This is too expensive and it should all be free." And that'd be nice, but it is what it is. It's an expensive hobby. Hobbies are expensive. You could be into whiskey drinking, and then, you know, that's expensive as well. Alright guys, cheerio. See you next time. I hope you enjoyed the video. Cheery, bye.